Remember those days when you were just an average teenager struggling with school, friends, and family? Well, imagine if you were also the guardian of a secret magical world as the American Dragon, cause that's the life of Jake Long, a regular kid with extraordinary powers. With his newfound powers, he battles evil forces and protects both worlds from harm. With that, let's get right into it. However, before we begin, let's set some context for better understanding. The show follows Chinese-American teenager Jake Long, who discovers his ability to transform into a dragon. His biggest challenge arises from his crush on Rose, who is secretly a dragon slayer called Huntsgirl. Unaware of Rose's double life, Jake faces conflicts while battling the Huntsclan, a group of ninjas hunting mythical creatures. Assisting Jake are his loyal friends Trixie and Spud. At home, his family includes parents, younger dragon's sister Haley, and wise grandfather Lao Shi, who trains Jake. Facing enemies like the Huntsman, leader of the Huntsclan and Rose's mentor, Jake, alongside his companion Few Dog, navigates personal struggles to fulfill his destiny as the American Dragon.
Jake, get back to work!
Season 1. On a New York City rooftop, Long Lao Shi, known as Gramps to his grandson Jake, emphasizes Jake's duty to protect magical creatures in the city. Despite Few Dog's encouragement, Gramps stresses the importance of mastering Jake's dragon powers first. In an attempt to impress, Jake shapeshifts into a dragon but nearly falls to his death when he reverts to human form. Later, in Central Park, Gramps instructs Jake to confront the Huntsman alone, who threatens unicorns. Jake's fiery attack backfires, revealing his inexperience, and the appearance of Huntsgirl complicates matters, leading to Jake's defeat. Gramps intervenes, forcing the Huntsclan to retreat and urging Jake to undergo further training. The following day, Jake attends mythology class with Mr. Rotwood, where a debate ensues about the existence of magical creatures. After school, Jake encounters a new girl named Rose, who possesses a dragon-shaped birthmark. Despite his chores at Gramps' store, Jake struggles with his desire for normalcy compared to his father's ignorance of their family's true nature. When Jake skips training, Gramps and Few Dog are attacked by the Huntsclan. Few Dog seeks Jake's help, prompting Jake to successfully transform into his dragon form and confront the Huntsclan. In the ensuing battle, Jake discovers that his chores were actually training exercises. He ultimately defeats the Huntsclan, earning praise from Gramps for his progress. Jake encounters trolls and goblins emerging from the sewers and confronts a soul-stealing creature. His dragon breath turns foul due to adolescent dragonhood. To cure this before a school dance, Few Dog gives Jake a necklace to control his breath. They visit Magus Bazaar, where Jake meets magical beings. He decides to ask Jasmine to the dance, but discovers she's a Nyx, harmless by day but a soul stealer at night. At the dance, Jake learns of Jasmine's true nature when she transforms and steals souls. Lao Shi and Fu arrive to help, but Jake accidentally drinks a potion meant for Jasmine. He realizes the potion's purpose and uses it on Jasmine, incapacitating her. He then restores the stolen souls, but faces humiliation and rejection. The next day, he returns Jasmine to Magus Bazaar, where they reconcile. However, strange soul-swapping effects occur at school. Professor Rotwood tries to steal a trophy for the winner of the talent competition, claiming that it contains an imprisoned ancient evil djinn. However, he is caught by the police. Trying to run away, Rotwood grabs the wrong trophy and goes downstairs. He fills the trophy with water and tries to convince the police that there is an ancient evil djinn. But since he has the wrong trophy, nothing happens. The next day, everyone figures out that someone tried to steal a trophy, forcing Jake to try and get to the trophy before Professor Rotwood does. However, since the principal has the trophy hidden, Jake has to enter the talent show. Now he's forced to go against his friend Spud, and he doesn't want to, but his grandpa tells him that he has to. But when Professor Rotwood enters a student in the talent show, Jake has more problems. In the talent show, Spud and Jake are the only ones left. Spud goes first and unleashes the ancient evil djinn from his hat. Jake has to transform into the American Dragon and fight the djinn, but Spud says the magic words, causing the djinn to disappear and become imprisoned again. Few Dog says that they have finally found the magic words. Jake drops out of the competition and Spud wins. Outside, Spud and Jake apologize to each other and Spud gives the trophy to Jake. In Grandpa's shop, they tell Grandpa what happened, but Jake and Spud have lost the trophy. As Haley's mystical dragon Tooth loosens, Dr. Dainty, the Tooth Fairy's nemesis, plots to capture it. He seizes the Tooth Fairy's wand and targets Haley, but encounters a protective shield at the Longhouse. Jake, wanting to attend a concert, reluctantly agrees to babysit Haley with help from Spud and Trixie. With brief stints of babysitting, Jake manages to attend the concert briefly. However, when Shaniqua appears on TV, they all rush to the concert, bringing Haley along. Meanwhile, the Tooth Fairy escapes Dent's clutches and seeks help from Grandpa Lao She and Few Dog. They realize Haley is in danger and rush to her aid. As Dean captures Haley and her tooth, he transforms into a monstrous form. Consequently, Jake intervenes and battles Dent, eventually defeating him by using a billboard-sized TV to crush him. Returning home, Jake and Haley face the aftermath of the chaos, and she takes the blame to protect Jake, but their parents are more interested in Haley's lost tooth, capturing the moment with excitement. That night, as Jake puts Haley to bed, they share a moment of gratitude. The episode ends with Trixie and Spud enjoying the concert in Shaniqua's limo. On a rooftop, Jake, Gramps, and Few Dog confront the Huntsman and Huntsgirl for a mystical scarab beetle. Jake's attempt to swing into action fails, causing him to crash into a wall. Despite the struggle, Gramps retrieves the scarab beetle, revealing its power to revive dead flowers. At school, Jake tries to ask Rose out, but his nerves get the best of him. They agree to rehearse at his grandpa's shop, but Jake accidentally releases the beetle. The next day, they attempt to rehearse at Trixie's house, but Jake and Rose's moment is interrupted by the beetle. They secretly investigate it, leading to a rooftop battle between Jake and Rose and their alter egos. The Huntsman seizes the beetle, and Jake and Rose flee. At Grandpa's shop, they plan to retrieve the beetle. At school, they coincidentally inform each other they can't make it to the play, prompting the drama teacher to faint. They resolve to confront the Huntsman, and with Spud's help, they locate his lair. In a fierce battle, the beetle revives everything, but Huntsgirl injures her leg. Unable to attend the play, Rose apologizes, and Jake suggests she audition for the next one. Trixie's interruption leads to Jake nervously asking Rose on a real date, to which she enthusiastically agrees, leaving Jake in disbelief. This episode starts off with Jake sleeping when he is suddenly awakened by a troll. Jake goes downstairs and says Mom said never to let strange magical creatures in the house, but he has to let him in because he is the American dragon and has to protect all magical creatures. Jake asks the troll who he has to protect him from, and the troll says Jake has to protect him from the sun. Jake lets him in and hides him in the room. Later, Jake's mother Susan and father Jonathan are going to pick up his aunt Patchouli, but right after they have left, Patchouli arrives at the house. Jake tries to distract her in order to hide the troll, to no avail, and she goes to take a shower in the bathroom, where the troll is hiding. Jake talks loudly to give the troll a hint, and he hides. As Patchouli takes a shower, the troll hides in the toilet. At the same time, Jake's parents come home and he tells his sister, Haley, to hide the troll, but nothing can stop all the noise. They all go upstairs and Haley hides the troll in her room. Susan notices that the troll is there, but Patchouli goes in thinking that they are hiding something from her, but it seems that the troll is her college friend Stan Lipkowski, and they leave for their date. While Jake and Grandpa are training, Few Dog gets a letter about tickets to a big game. Grandpa says he can go, but cannot attract attention to himself. Few walks himself, but a dog catcher decides to catch him. However, she misses him on the first try, and when she tries again, she accidentally catches an old lady who begins hitting her. Few Dog attempts to hide in the train station, where the dog catcher can't catch him because she doesn't have a ticket. In the shop, Grandpa declares that Few Dog was in trouble, and Jake wonders if he learned that through meditation. Grandpa replies, "No, it's been an hour since last he was in trouble, and I figure that he's about due." In the train station, the dog catcher manages to catch Few Dog, taking him to an abandoned factory where she is trying to turn him into a cure for her allergies. Jake and Grandpa arrive just in time, and just after Few Dog says, "I could use a dragon by now." Jake makes Few Dog fall, prompting Few to say, "I take it back. I don't want a dragon." Few Dog leaves the dog catcher behind and takes the other captured dogs to find new homes with magical creatures. One night, Professor Rotwood captures a blurry picture of Jake and Huntsgirl battling. The next day, he offers a $500 reward for evidence of the magical creature. Jake, Trixie, and Spud accidentally break a pricey vase and attempt to earn money to replace it. Jake tries to earn the reward by submitting pictures of himself in dragon form and even his dragon scales, but Professor Rotwood rejects them. While battling Huntsgirl, Jake is knocked unconscious and Trixie and Spud spot him in his dragon form and turn him in for the reward. They inform Jake later, and when they visit his house, they discover incriminating images on his computer. Shocked but determined to help, they seek aid from Jake's grandpa and Few Dog. Few Dog drives them in a taxi, but they encounter obstacles including oil spilled by Rotwood and a traffic jam. Meanwhile, Trixie and Spud sacrifice their money to another taxi driver to reach Rotwood and Jake. As Professor Rotwood converses with others, Trixie and Spud devise a plan to free Jake. They execute it when Rotwood opens the truck, revealing Jake wearing a dragon mask. Rotwood realizes the ruse, leading to his arrest. Jake expresses gratitude to Trixie and Spud for their rescue. Later, at the shop with Grandpa and Few Dog, they concoct a mind erase potion to wipe Trixie and Spud's memories of magic. Jake, on his way to Trixie's house, encounters the leprechaun who gifts him with gold. He proceeds to buy the replacement vase and discreetly disposes of the potion in a plant. Arriving at Trixie's, Jake joins his friends to play video games. Meanwhile, in jail, Rotwood grows suspicious of Jake's identity as the dragon. Jake, Trixie, and Spud are tasked with caring for an egg as a parenting assignment, while Jake also has to handle a griffin egg with Fewdog. However, the huntsman and huntsgirl steal the griffin egg, prompting Jake and Fewdog to pursue them. In the ensuing chase, the griffin egg is dropped and lost among chocolate eggs in a factory. As Jake and Fewdog search for the egg, they inadvertently consume many chocolate eggs, leaving them full but unable to find the griffin egg. Eventually, they locate it in Spud's backpack, mistakenly believing it to be the assignment egg. However, upon inspection, they realize it's the wrong egg and retrieve the real griffin egg just before it hatches. To their surprise, the mother griffin swallows the baby griffin whole, explaining that it's a protective measure until the offspring is older. Disgusted, Jake and Fewdog witness the unique maternal behavior of griffins. The episode begins with leprechauns distressed over a stolen pot of gold, crucial for their livelihood. Jake, Grandpa, Trixie, and Spud team up to retrieve it. They devise a plan, sneaking into Pandora's hotel using disguises. Inside, they confront security measures requiring Pandora's fingerprint to open the safe. Jake improvises, using Fewdog's magical fur to bypass security. However, an accidental trigger sets off alarms, leading to a showdown with a giant spider, the Kumo. As Jake battles the Kumo, Trixie and Spud cook to pass time. Pandora seizes the opportunity to steal the gold, but Grandpa intervenes, rescuing Jake's group. Back at the park, they regroup to strategize, but Jake impulsively opens the case containing the gold. However, to their surprise, Pandarus finds stew instead of gold when he opens the pot. Jake, Grandpa, and Fewdog are heading to a train station, intending to access a magical world through an elevator. Confusion arises as they encounter a magical creature assisting them with their bags. During the descent, Jake's skateboard antics draw attention, leading to a stumble and a rescue by Counselor Culd, who accidentally freezes Chang. Reflecting on Jake's past misdeeds, Fewdog defends Jake's actions to Counselor Culd. Despite skepticism from the Dragon Council, Grandpa vouches for Jake's bravery and good heart. The Council presents Jake with 3 tests: judgment in fire, wisdom in battle, and courage in flight. Jake fails the first test due to sneezing powder, disappointing Grandpa. Meanwhile, an evil dragon learns of Jake's failure and begins plotting in a volcano. Jake prepares for the second test by challenging Fewdog in a museum. He questions why the huntsman was ranked lower than the dark dragon and adapts his strategy against brownies. For the third test, Jake selects Fred Nurk as his opponent. Despite initial setbacks, Jake saves Nurk from the dark dragon's clutches, earning recognition from Counselor Culd. However, Grandpa grows suspicious of a potential spy among them. As they depart, Grandpa maintains a serious demeanor, indicating his concerns. Meanwhile, at the volcano, the dark dragon's failure is revealed and Counselor Chang is exposed as the mastermind behind the deception, hinting at a deeper conspiracy. The episode begins with Jake preparing for a test at school. However, his plans are interrupted when he's tasked with guarding the Oracle twins from Herbert, who seeks their predictions for the Ogre Bowl. Despite his obligations, Jake struggles to balance his schoolwork and protecting the twins. Later, Trixie and Spud meet the Oracle twins, who predict Trixie's future marriage to Yo-Yo Boy. Despite trying to keep their visions private, the twins inadvertently reveal details, causing turmoil for Trixie and Spud. Meanwhile, Jake faces attacks from Herbert's goblins but manages to escape with Kara's assistance, using the twins' visions to his advantage. At the shop, Jake seeks answers from the Oracle twins, but their kidnapping interrupts his plans. In a daring rescue during the Ogre Bowl, Jake saves the twins but sustains minor injuries. Despite his efforts, Kara blames Jake for their kidnapping and expresses her frustration by hitting him with a sandal. After dropping off the Oracle twins, Jake tries to maintain a positive outlook, but Sarah cryptically warns him about a dark truth regarding Rose. Jake's curiosity peaks, but the episode ends with uncertainty as he frantically seeks answers from the twins, desperate to uncover Rose's secret. Grandpa, Fewdog, and Jake embark on a mission to apprehend a goblin named Ralph, who holds crucial information about the Orb of Melorphus, sought after by the Huntsman. After capturing Ralph, Fewdog extracts valuable details using a truth spell, revealing the Huntsman's plans to acquire the orb and ship it to Ohio. Fewdog concocts a potion enabling Jake to shapeshift into anyone he desires. Jake humorously transforms into Grandpa and Fewdog, amusing himself with playful impersonations. In the park, Jake, disguised as Ralph, confronts the Huntsman to retrieve the Orb of Melorphus. Successfully deceiving the Huntsman, Jake narrowly avoids a confrontation and learns that the exchange will occur the following day. During the parent-teacher conference, Jake employs his shape-shifting ability to trick his parents and Professor Rotwood. Assuming various disguises, Jake orchestrates a series of comedic encounters to embarrass Professor Rotwood, much to his parents' annoyance. In the hallway, Jake transforms into Rose's favorite pop star, Jared MacArthur, but fails to convincingly play the guitar and sing, resulting in an awkward encounter before leaving. Outside, he shapeshifts into a professional skater to intervene when a bully hassles Trixie and Spud at the skate park. Later, as Jake attempts to retrieve the orb of Malorphus, his shapeshifting abilities malfunction, causing him to morph uncontrollably into various personas he has assumed. Amidst the chaos, he captures the Huntsgirl but struggles to maintain his identity. With the help of Grandpa and Few Dog, Jake narrowly escapes capture by the Huntsman, ultimately securing the orb. Reflecting on the events, Jake denies misusing his powers to Grandpa, but their conversation is interrupted by witnessing Jake's mom and Professor Rotwood arguing on the news, along with Rose discussing the singer Jared MacArthur. Trixie and Spud arrive, sharing news of the skater Jake helped, prompting a smile from Jake before Grandpa calls out to him, concluding the episode. In the snowfield, Jake impresses Rose with an ice sculpture created using his dragon breath. However, their moment is cut short when Rose receives a message from the Huntsman. At school, Jake plans to reveal his dragon identity to Rose on Valentine's Day despite Trixie's warnings. Hans Rotwood's interference and the impending ski trip add to the chaos. On the bus, Rotwood disrupts Jake's attempt to connect with Rose by placing her beside Brad, sparking Jake's jealousy. Spud's peculiar behavior about the ski lift and Trixie's investigation into Rose's preferences add to the intrigue. Upon arrival, Rotwood's mishap with the ski passes leads to an injury while Jake and his friends navigate their room assignments. Trixie reluctantly agrees to gather information about Rose for Jake in exchange for payment, and Jake finds himself rooming with Brad. Amidst chaos caused by Brad's antics and Rotwood's mishaps, Jake tries to gather information about Rose from Trixie. When he encounters Rose, she notices the dragon on his snowboard, prompting Jake to change the subject. Spud's attempts to impress Rose backfire and Brad interrupts their conversation. In a montage, Spud struggles to master the ski lift while Jake overhears the abominable snowman's roar. Jake interrupts Rose's conversation with the Huntsman and engages her in battle, ultimately winning and causing Rose to flee, leaving her ski pass behind. Later, Jake shares his suspicions about Huntsgirl's identity with his friends, suggesting they set a trap to capture her. However, when Jake attacks a mannequin in practice, he is met with laughter. Despite setbacks, Jake overhears Rose expressing her desire to go sleighing and offers to join her, only to be thwarted by Brad once again. In New Jersey at 10:13 p.m., two sprites are attacked by a legendary cryptid in the woods. Meanwhile, Jake, Trixie, Spud, and Jonathan camp, while Haley and Susan accidentally go to boot camp instead of a spa. Jake sets up camp for Jonathan, and they enjoy s'mores before Jonathan sleeps. A male sprite informs Jake, Trixie, and Spud of their village's plight. The Jersey Devil raids them every 100 years for 7 nights. They must stop it or face starvation. The cryptid attacks, but Jake drives it away. That night, the Jersey Devil returns, battling Jake until he's knocked out, causing chaos at the camp. Jake is almost pushed off a cliff, but is saved by Jonathan, who uses bear spray and a fishing net to capture the cryptid. It falls off the cliff, ending its threat. Jake reconciles with his father, and they return home with Haley and Susan, who unknowingly eat Spud's s'mores, puzzling Jake and Jonathan. Jake, Grandpa, and Few Dog embark on a mission to thwart Pandora's evil plan by entering Few Dog's friend into a beauty contest. However, when she gets injured, they improvise by disguising Few Dog and entering him instead. As Few Dog competes, Jake and Grandpa investigate Pandora's activities, leading to a confrontation with goblins sent by him. Amidst the contest, Few Dog delivers a heartfelt speech advocating for inner beauty, prompting the other contestants to withdraw. Pandarus reveals his intention to marry the winner for power, undeterred by Few Dog's true identity. Despite the revelation, Pandarus proceeds with his plan until the other contestants intervene, saving Few Dog from his clutches. Grateful for Few Dog's kindness, the contestants express their appreciation, recognizing the importance of treating others with respect. Jake, Grandpa, and Few Dog embark on a mission to capture a mischievous gremlin wreaking havoc in the subway station. While attempting to subdue the gremlin, Jake's refusal to sing the Hubba Hubba Hula allows the creature to escape, leading to a chaotic chase through the city. Back at home, Jake overhears his mom discussing wedding plans with a caterer and offers to help despite his previous mishaps. However, his attempts to assist only result in further chaos when the gremlin interferes with the kitchen appliances. As Jake tries to contain the gremlin, his mom assigns him tasks for the wedding reception, leaving him feeling disappointed and sidelined. Meanwhile, the gremlins multiply and continue their destructive spree, prompting Jake to intervene once again. With the help of Few Dog's advice, Jake realizes that he must use the power of the Hubba Hubba Hula to calm the gremlins. Reluctantly, he takes to the stage at the reception and performs the song, ultimately bringing peace to the chaotic scene. Despite initially feeling embarrassed in front of his classmates, Jake's actions ultimately save the day and earn him his mom's gratitude. The Dragon Council conducts surprise inspections on dragon trainees, concluding with Jake. Counselor Chang, harboring disdain for Jake, joins the visit, causing tension. Meanwhile, Jake practices fire abilities with friends in Grandpa's shop. Haley arrives in a princess costume for Halloween, joining Grandpa for trick-or-treating. Jake is tasked with locking up the shop but accidentally transforms into his dragon form on the streets, mistaken for a costume. Capitalizing on the misunderstanding, Jake decides to host a party for humans and magical creatures. Despite initial reluctance from Few Dog, enticed by promises of poodles, Jake convinces him. Chaos ensues at the party, prompting the Dragon Council's arrival. Jake's powers are revoked and he and Grandpa are suspended from the Dragon Order. As Haley and Grandpa experience humorous misunderstandings during trick-or-treating, homeowners shower Grandpa with candy, mistaking him for a child in costume, while Haley receives an apple. The revelation of Jake's true identity disrupts the party, leading to consequences for him and Grandpa. Jake, powerless, witnesses the huntsman abducting the Dragon Council. Unable to intervene, he rallies two harpies from the party to aid him. Meanwhile, at the shop, Few Dog urges the partygoers to clean up in Jake's absence. The harpies lead Jake to the cemetery, where Huntsgirl prepares to slay Counselor Chang. Mistaken for his grandfather, Jake embraces the Halloween spirit and brings the party to the cemetery. As the Hunts clan initiates the ritual, Jake's impromptu performance disrupts the proceedings. Amidst the chaos, the magical creatures engage in battle. With the huntsman attempts to apprehend the crowd, the council transforms into dragons to fend off the Hunts clan. Grateful for Jake's assistance, the council restores his dragon powers, albeit with reluctance from Chang. Few Dog promises not to reveal the events to Grandpa, preoccupied by a poodle. Back home, Haley and Grandpa enjoy their Halloween loot, with Grandpa playfully ensuring Haley's safety. He generously adds his candy to hers, ensuring she has more treats than him. Jake, Trixie, and Spud embark on a train journey to enjoy their free day at the carnival. While exploring, they encounter a sideshow featuring a supposed unicorn. Trixie dismisses it as a hoax, but Jake notices its authenticity. Concerned, he contacts Few Dog, who instructs them to return the unicorn to its herd. Attempting to rescue the unicorn, Jake, Trixie, and Spud face resistance from the carnival workers. Utilizing Jake's dragon form as a distraction, they escape with the unicorn. Racing through horse racetracks, they evade capture and retreat to the forest to reunite the unicorn with its herd. Reflecting on the adventure, Jake apologizes for the chaos, but Trixie and Spud assure him it was their best day ever. Grateful for the experience, they bid farewell to the unicorn as it rejoins its companions, ending the episode on a positive note. However, during lunch, Few Dog encounters Yam Yan, Olivia's cat, and his longtime rival. They engage in a fierce battle, causing chaos reminiscent of past conflicts. Their fight escalates into the cafeteria, where Few Dog uses Sloppy Joe to thwart Yan Yan. He swallows a lucky coin that Yan Yan possesses, preventing her from retrieving it. When they return to the classroom, Few Dog cleverly frames Yan Yan for the mess. Consequently, the teacher forbids Olivia from bringing Yan Yan to school, allowing Haley to proceed with show and tell with Few Dog. As they negotiate the Sloppy Joe deal once more, the friendship prevails amidst the chaos. The episode kicks off with two goblins abducting a pixie, prompting Jake to intervene. However, his attempt fails and Trixie and Spud get captured in the process. Feeling remorseful, they agree to assist Jake in rescuing the pixie from its cage, but Spud's clumsiness jeopardizes their plan. Jake and Grandpa depart for a dragon retreat, leaving Trixie, Spud, and Few Dog in charge. Despite Few Dog's warning, Spud meddles with magical items, resulting in bizarre transformations. Learning of trolls terrorizing Magus Bazaar, Few Dog devises a plan for Trixie and Spud to scare them off by posing as dragons. Their plan initially works, but Trixie's insult enrages the trolls. As they prepare for battle, Few Dog concocts a potion to grant them dragon-like abilities. However, their training sessions result in Few Dog's mishaps. In Magus Bazaar, Trixie and Spud engage in battle with the trolls, but Mama Troll poses a formidable challenge. With quick thinking from Spud, they use an instant sunshine potion to petrify Mama Troll, forcing the other trolls to flee. The following day, Jake and Grandpa return to find the shop tidied up, albeit with destroyed electronics and unusual traces on the ceiling. Trixie, Spud, and Few Dog's expressions reveal their apprehension as Jake and Grandpa enters, ending the episode on a cliffhanger. Jake, Trixie, and Spud receive a visit from two giants who inform them about Hobie, prompting Jake to confront him in the KWL arena. He competes in various challenges and emerges victorious until he faces Hobie in the final showdown. Despite a tough battle, Jake manages to defeat Hobie and earn the championship belt. However, Hobie reveals that he only joined the competition to learn about his parents' whereabouts. Together, Jake and Hobie team up to rescue Hobie's parents from captivity. After a fierce fight, they succeed in defeating the captors and freeing Hobie's parents. As a token of gratitude, Trixie receives payment in fish for her merchandise. Back at Jake's home, Jake serves breakfast to his parents, who discover heartfelt messages written on each other's backs from Jake. The episode concludes with Jake's parents expressing their appreciation for his gesture, ending on a heartwarming note of familial love and gratitude. Jake's day at school starts off normal, but things quickly get exciting when he sees Rose at his locker. They chat for a bit, but then Jake takes a big fall down the stairs. Outside, Jake, Trixie, and Spud hang out, and suddenly Rose appears again, leaving Jake feeling all mixed up inside. Suddenly, the Huntsgirl shows up, and Jake has to follow her into the city. But it's a trap. Jake gets stuck in a train station, and then crashes into a train. He's knocked out cold. When Jake wakes up, he's in big trouble. He's stuck in a vehicle with a bunch of strange creatures, like a mermaid and a giant. They're all chained up together. Jake tries to break free, but it's no use. The mermaid says they're all part of something called the Grand Equinox Hunt. Turns out, in this special hunt, they let the prizes run away, but then they go hunting at midnight. The biggest prize? The Huntsgirl, who is actually Jake's friend Rose. Jake manages to free himself and his new friends, but they're not safe yet. The Hunts clan is on their tail. They run for their lives through the woods, but then they get stuck in a tree. Finally, they escape, and Jake comes up with a plan to fight back against the Hunts clan. But when Jake confronts the Huntsgirl, things get really intense. He reveals his secret to her, but she runs away, leaving Jake feeling sad and confused. In the end, Jake escapes and goes back to school, but Rose is gone, and Jake, feeling lonely without her, says, "Aw, man."
Oh, man.
Season 2, Jake learns that the evil Gorgon sisters, Fury, Uriel, and Medusa, have mysteriously come back to life and are entrancing the school cheerleaders to do their dirty work. Now Trixie must infiltrate the tight-knit group of cheerleaders in order to stop them from taking over the world. Consequently, in the end, she tricks the Gorgons into attacking each other, and they turn each other back to stone. Jake and Lao Shi find themselves meditating in Central Park, where Lao Shi urges Jake to feel rather than think. However, their peaceful moment is interrupted by a dark cloud shrouding the moon, and Jake spots a mysterious figure observing them. Curiosity piqued, Jake follows, only to discover it's the Huntsgirl, who leads him into a tunnel. As they draw closer, Jake's startled by emerging snakes and the Huntsgirl's foreboding warning about the Huntsman's plans. Despite her plea for him to stop the villain, Jake's concern is solely for her safety. He takes a daring move, grasping her hand, and to his surprise, reveals Rose's face beneath the mask. In a moment of vulnerability, he kisses her. Reality hits hard as Jake awakens to find himself smooching Fudog, much to his horror. Repulsed, Jake pulls away and discovers the Huntsgirl's mask in his hand. At the shop, Jake, Gramps, Fu, Trixie, and Spud puzzle over the dream's significance and the mask's presence. Jake's convinced Rose is trying to contact him through dreams despite skepticism from Trixie and Spud. Desperate to reach Rose, Jake proposes using a spell to enter her dreams. However, Lao Shi warns against it, deeming it dangerous. Despite the risk, Fu empathizes with Jake's plight and agrees to help secretly. They devise a plan involving a portal spell, but lack a crucial ingredient, Krylock venom. Their vigil for a Krylock portal is interrupted by a candid conversation with Trixie and Spud, who urge Jake to move on from Rose. Yet Jake remains steadfast in his belief in Rose's return. The next day, Jake receives an ultimatum from Ms. Park, offering a chance to improve his grades with an extra credit baking assignment for the school carnival. As they head home, Spud's clown phobia resurfaces, dampening his enthusiasm for the carnival. Their journey is interrupted by news of a loose Krylock in Central Park, signaling another adventure for Jake and his friends. The adventure begins with the Krylock causing chaos in the park, forcing Jake, Fu, Trixie, and Spud to devise a plan to capture its venom. Successfully executing the plan, Jake retrieves the venom and returns to the shop to mix it into a portal spell potion. However, a mix-up occurs and the venom ends up in cupcakes baked by Spud and Trixie. The next day, Jake's mood is somber as he listens to blues music and reminisces about Rose. Despite Trixie and Spud's attempts to cheer him up, Jake remains despondent. Meanwhile, at the carnival, unsuspecting patrons consume the venom-laced cupcakes, resulting in alarming transformations. As chaos ensues, Jake reveals the mishap with the cupcakes, prompting a frantic search for a solution. Amidst the chaos, Jake faces a dilemma: pursue Rose or fulfill his duty to defeat the Krylock. Ultimately, he chooses the latter. With the help of Spud, the last cupcake containing the potion is retrieved and used in a portal spell to locate the Krylock. During the confrontation with the Krylock, Jake triumphs by turning its own weapon against it, restoring the mutants to their human forms. Jake's grandfather praises him for his decision, emphasizing the importance of doing what is right. Reflecting on his feelings for Rose, Jake decides to let her go but resolves to continue searching for her without letting her consume his life. Meanwhile, at the Huntsclan Academy, Rose reveals her allegiance to the Huntsclan, hinting at darker intentions ahead. Jake's quest to find Rose takes a dramatic turn when Kara and Sarah inform him of suspicious Huntsclan activity at school. Accompanied by Spud, Lao Shai, Fu, and Trixie, they investigate a peculiar area where creatures from another dimension emerge. Spud's innocent inclusion of the small black cat leads to chaos when it transforms into a monstrous creature. Unveiling two Huntsboys as the culprits, Jake and Lao Shai intimidate them in their dragon forms. The Huntsboys are apprehended and confined in a cage at the shop, identified as number 88 and number 89. To rescue Rose from the Huntslayer, Jake and Spud disguise themselves as Huntsclan members. However, their mission becomes complicated when number 88 and number 89 escape their cage, indulging in snacks and games while Fu is distracted. Amidst their escapade, Jake and Spud navigate encounters with flirtatious Huntsclan members and failed attempts at potion making. Their misadventures escalate when they are thrust into a cage arena, facing off against a colossal kraken released by the Huntsman. With Rose's covert assistance, Jake transforms into a dragon and defeats the kraken, earning unexpected praise from the Huntsclan. However, their victory is short-lived as the real number 88 and number 89 expose Jake and Spud's ruse. In a daring escape orchestrated by Spud's quick thinking, they deceive the Huntsclan members, allowing Jake and Rose to flee. Though reunited, Rose cautions Jake about the risks of their relationship, leading to tension at the dance party when Brad steals her away. Despite their challenges, the episode ends with a lighthearted moment as number 88 and number 89 entertain zoo visitors from their cage. Jake's life is packed with responsibilities from school to dragon training, leaving him exhausted and overbooked. To help, Lao Shi gives him a personal magical assistant, PMA. One night, Jake's PMA wakes him for emergency dragon training in Central Park. Lao Shi teaches him to create doppelgangers using his Chai energy to outsmart enemies. The next day, Jake struggles to balance his many commitments, leading to chaos. Seeking a shortcut, he convinces Fu Dog to give him a Chi amplifier to create obedient doppelgangers. Jake creates multiple doppelgangers to handle his various tasks, but things quickly spiral out of control. One doppelganger, created with negative Chi, turns sinister and attacks Jake's nemesis, Brad Morton. As chaos follows, Jake realizes his mistake and seeks Fu Dog's help. They learn that the evil doppelganger drains Chai energy, making Jake weaker. Evil Jake absorbs Jake's other doppelgangers, leaving Jake desperate to stop him. With Fu Dog's guidance, Jake confronts evil Jake and defeats him with a clever strategy. In the end, Jake absorbs the doppelgangers and learns the importance of time management and honesty. Professor Rotwood lectures the class on the mysteries of the sea, but his lesson is interrupted when he catches Jake, Spud, and Trixie playing with a toy stick. Furious, Rotwood sends Jake to Principal Dercedo's office. In the principal's office, Dercedo confronts Jake about his behavior, prompting Jake's escape after seeing Fu Dog's signal. Dercedo becomes suspicious and decides to spy on Jake. Outside, Jake is led by Fu Dog to the realm of the mermaids where he meets Silver. Silver warns Jake about an escaped magical creature and clarifies they called him for help, not to capture the creature. Back at the shop, Jake vents about his busy life and Grandpa's strictness. Fu Dog suggests finding Grandpa a date, leading to chaos when the magical creatures arrive for a matchmaking event. Grandpa discovers Jake's scheme and reprimands him. Jake hears None screaming in the bathroom, hinting at the creature's presence. Later, he witnesses Principal Dercedo and Grandpa's suspicious interaction. Believing Principal Dercedo to be the monster, Jake, Trixie, and Spud investigate her office. They find evidence linking her to the creature, but flee when Dercedo returns unexpectedly. Convinced of Dercedo's guilt, Jake confronts her at her house, leading to a fight. However, Dercedo reveals she's an undercover mermaid and the real monster is at large. Back at the shop, Fu Dog's date with Grandpa turns chaotic when the monster attacks. Jake and Dercedo defeat the monster together. As the Merman police take the monster away, Jake reconciles with Dercedo and gives his blessing for her and Grandpa's relationship. However, Dercedo must leave for another mission, leaving Jake and his friends to bid her farewell. At school, Jake reflects on the changes brought by Dercedo's departure, only for disappointment to reign when Rotwood reveals he's the new principal. Everyone then gets disappointed and Jake sighs sadly and says, "All man," as the episode ends. Rose wants to spend some time apart from Jake after the Huntsman's newest apprentices, Huntsboy number 88 and Huntsboy number 89, see her and Jake together. But after he pairs up with Rose for a school project, Jake becomes obsessed with his appearance when he starts going through his first 10-year dragon molting cycle, causing him to adopt a temporarily grotesque appearance. He must overcome his fear of showing his face to Rose in order to help her thwart the newly revealed plot of the Huntsman. When the problem is solved thanks to Trixie and Spud's school project, Rose gives Jake one of her dream charms so that they can meet in their dreams. One night, Jake and Fu soar over the open sea, hunting rampaging hobgoblins. Jake, eager for fame, refuses backup, believing he'll make the cover of a Magic Week magazine. However, the hobgoblins ambush him, leading to an unexpected rescue by his sister, Haley, and his teacher, Sun Park, who is also a dragon. Embarrassed and confused, Jake finds himself in his underwear in front of a fairy reporter. At the shop, Jake learns that Haley has secretly started dragon training due to her innate powers. Fu's prankster friend Marty arrives to stay, leading to failed pranks. The next day, Jake's frustration grows as Haley outshines him in dragon training and lands a magazine cover shoot. Determined to reclaim his glory, Jake plans to prank Haley but reconsiders with Trixie and Spud's advice. During Haley's photo shoot, Jake tries to cancel the prank, but is too late. Haley accidentally drinks a potion, causing chaos during the shoot. Hobgoblins attack, kidnapping Haley. Guilt-ridden, Jake vows to rescue her. With Marty's help, Jake tracks down Haley and battles the hobgoblins in the subway. They defeat the villains, and Haley reveals the prank's effects wore off before her abduction. Graham scolds Jake but acknowledges his bravery. Jake's punishment is cleaning a cauldron, but he finds solace in making the magazine cover despite an embarrassing photo inside. One night, Jake faces the Huntsman at a baseball stadium to prevent him from acquiring the Uchrono Hourglass. Despite his efforts to keep his secret from his dad, Jake catches a baseball on TV, leading to his grounding for 2 weeks. Disheartened, Jake's mom, Susan, reveals an old letter she never gave his dad, Jonathan, about their family's dragon powers. Jake decides to use the Uchrono to fix his parents' past. He and Fu travel to 1986, where Jake plants the letter in Jonathan's locker. However, this causes a rift between Susan and Jonathan, endangering Jake's existence. To reunite them, they try different tactics, but nothing works until Fu suggests bringing them together at a beach party. At the party, Jake reveals the truth to Jonathan, but the shock causes him to faint. Meanwhile, the Huntsman attacks, capturing Jonathan. Jake and Fu rescue him with Susan and Gramps' help. They defeat the Huntsclan and save Jonathan. Back in the present, Susan and Jonathan forgive Jake, but he's grounded again when a photo reveals his time travel. Despite this, Jake is content knowing his family is safe and united. Jake and Rose embark on a dream date, where Rose opens up about her lack of memories before the Huntsclan. Jake's alarm interrupts their conversation, leading to his tardiness at school and detention from the principal, Professor Rotwood. Jake confides in Trixie and Spud about his upcoming exam on a renowned scientific mind. Rotwood, relishing in Jake's distress, refuses to reveal the subject of the exam. Determined to study, Jake and his friends head to the library during study hall. They discuss Rotwood's harshness and Jake's dream date with Rose. Despite Spud's dream-related mishaps, they focus on Jake's predicament. However, Jake's attempt to study is derailed by Rotwood's cryptic instructions. That night, Jake and Rose return to the dream realm, hoping to glean information from Rotwood's subconscious. They journey through Rotwood's dreams, discovering his childhood memories and obtaining the test answers. However, they encounter a chimera, prompting them to awaken. The next day, Jake faces consequences for his tardiness, worsened by his parents' sour mood. At school, Rose informs Jake about rumors of the chimera sighting, indicating their dream world encounter has real-world consequences. Seeking guidance, Jake turns to his grandfather for help. With Few Dog's enchanted snare, Jake and his friends venture back to the dream world to capture the chimera. After a chaotic pursuit, they successfully trap the chimera, but Jake's attempt to open the snare fails. In a desperate moment, Spud rescues Jake from an octopus, allowing him to retrieve the snare. Meanwhile, Rose navigates her own subconscious, uncovering her tragic past with the Huntsclan. Despite the harrowing memories, she aids Jake in trapping the chimera. Back in the waking world, they return the chimera to Rotwood's dream, leaving him bewildered. At school, Jake realizes he already knows the answers to the exam, recognizing himself as the greatest scientific mind. Confident and prepared, he aces the tests, surprising Rotwood and securing his success. Jake and Trixie, worried about Spud's lack of focus on his academics, decide to help him prepare for his standardized test. At school, Jake swaps his test paper with Spud's to give him a perfect score, which catches the attention of an agent from the Manhattan Genius Institute, MGI. Spud is invited to join the institute as a young genius, but he's reluctant due to the intense workload. Meanwhile, Few Dog alerts Jake of a dragon emergency involving a powerful magical artifact hidden in the sewers. The gang retrieves the artifact but is ambushed by Eli Pandarus, who steals it. Back at Lao Shi's shop, they discover it's Pandora's box and realize Pandarus is after it. Spud's first day at the Institute goes awry as he struggles to fit in with the focused geniuses. Jake and Trixie try to unravel Pandarus' plans but realize they need Spud's help. They learn from Pandarus' former sidekick that he's using the Institute's students to unlock the box. As Pandarus threatens Spud to reveal the box combination, Jake and Trixie infiltrate the Institute to rescue him. Spud ultimately outsmarts Pandarus and saves the day. Despite his initial reluctance, Spud decides to embrace the challenge of academics and aims to improve his skills. The trio reunites and Spud expresses his newfound determination to excel academically while still enjoying life. He plans to transition from being a mime to pursuing his passion for music as a one-man band. Jake and his friends are interrupted by Brad Morton at the arcade. After Jake rescues leprechauns from hobgoblins, their leader rewards him with a golden coin, advising him to follow rainbows for more treasure. Despite Gramps' warnings, Jake keeps the coin and discovers it emits a rainbow path when it shines. He follows it to the leprechaun's shop, where he's offered a job for gold. While Jake enjoys his newfound wealth, he keeps his job secret from his friends. When Brockhama sends him on a mission to retrieve a chest from Hobgoblin Cave, Jake discovers it belongs to the huntsman. He confronts Brockhama, who agrees to help him retrieve the Aztec skull. Jake persuades magical creatures to join forces against the Huntsclan, using leprechaun gold as leverage. Together, they reclaim the skull and escape. Despite losing his newfound wealth, Jake remains optimistic about his future with his part-time job. Jake reluctantly attends a family reunion on Aunt Kathy's private island, frustrated at always being relegated to the kids' table. With Uncle Lee unable to make it due to surgery, Jake hopes for a change. He challenges his cousin Gregory for a spot at the adult table, agreeing to a duel. Gregory wins the final round by trickery. Jake, feeling dejected, seeks solace at sea and encounters a distressed shark lady pursued by shark people searching for Neptune's trident. Learning of its power to control the seas, Jake, Fu, and the shark lady set out to protect it. Returning to the island, chaos ensues as the shark lady disrupts the family dinner, frightening Gregory. Tiburon, leader of the shark gang, captures them all, demanding the trident. Jake and Gregory, with Jake leading, defeat Tiburon and retrieve the trident. Gramps and Jonathan arrive to mediate a family conflict sparked by the chaos, and they reconcile. Jake is desperate to attend the video game convention but is forbidden by his parents. Determined, he tries to sneak out using a doppelganger, but Haley foils his plan. Feeling annoyed with Haley's goody two-shoes demeanor, Jake introduces her to Puka Puka Fun Fun Farm, a show their parents disapprove of, sparking Haley's rebellious streak. As Haley becomes increasingly defiant, Jake exploits her new attitude to bypass the security system and attend the convention. However, Haley's behavior escalates, culminating in theft and disrespect towards her family. Jake, feeling guilty, tries to intervene but finds Haley uncontrollable. When Sun Park reveals that Puka Puka is brainwashing kids, Jake realizes Haley's involvement and rushes to stop her. They confront Puka Puka at the convention, where Jake exposes the truth to their parents, leading to the show's cancellation. Haley realizes her mistake, but appreciates bonding with Jake despite their grounding. Jake's bid for student body president against a new British exchange student named Nigel Thrall takes an unexpected turn when he uses a magical helmet to read the minds of his constituents. Grandpa begins to have a rivalry with a new electronics store across the street. With the help of the exchange student, a sorcerer in training, Jake defeats the helmet's true owner, and Trixie and Spud win the election. Jake's prank on Principal Rotwood backfires when it gets Rotwood fired and replaced by the seemingly kind Sigmund Brock, who is actually the one who fueled Rotwood's obsession with exposing magical creatures. Meanwhile, Spud uses onions to fake sensitivity and attracts Stacy. Jake teams up with Rotwood to expose Brock, but their plan fails and Rotwood discovers Jake's role in his dismissal. The school embraces Brock, leaving Jake and his friends ostracized. Determined, they break into Brock's office, discovering his sinister agenda and a horde of magical creatures. Spud's unique onion-induced defense helps them escape an attack. However, Brock captures them and tries to expose the dragon among them by using a transformation chemical. Mistakenly targeting Spud due to his onion breath, Brock's plan fails, leading to his downfall. Rotwood returns as principal and transforms Jake's hand into a dragon's hand, revealing that he always suspected Jake to be a dragon. He then leaves, saying he can't wait to expose him later. On Christmas Eve, Few Dog narrates a tale of a lonely baby Sasquatch and Jake's frustration with his family's holiday customs. Jake wishes for an escape from his family's eccentricities, while Trixie laments her father's absence due to icy conditions in Greenland. When Spud alerts Jake about the Sasquatch, They embark on a chase, encountering comedic mishaps with Huntsboys 88 and 89. At the mall, chaos ensues as this Sasquatch climbs the Christmas tree, attracting attention from Rotwood and the Huntsboys. In pursuit, Jake confronts the Huntsboys, leading to a chaotic crash at a Christmas pageant. Despite setbacks, Spud's unconventional fruitcake toss disrupts the Huntsboys' escape, reuniting the Sasquatch with its family. Jake learns the true meaning of Christmas, cherishing family over material desires. Trixie's father miraculously returns home, and Jake secretly aids in melting the ice. Embracing their unique traditions, Jake and Trixie find joy in their holiday celebrations, and Few Dog savors his eggnog. The episode starts with a black screen, but then it shows eyelids as if you're actually there, and Jake groans without being seen. He then shouts, "Bathroom," and they show him jumping out of bed, grabbing his towel on the way and opening his door. Turns out, Jake and Haley are forced to re-examine their sibling rivalry as an enchanted mirror they got from Huntsboy number 88 and Huntsboy number 89 has switched their bodies for a day. Both of them are forced to comically experience life as the other. But when Huntsboy number 88 and Huntsboy number 89 try to steal a mirror again, Jake and Haley work together to get it back before remaining at each other's bodies forever. As Valentine's Day approaches, Jake plans to go on a cruise with Rose, while Trixie hopes to impress Kyle and Spud aims to win over Stacy. However, Jake's grandfather advises Rose to end her relationship with Jake for his safety. Misunderstanding, Jake decides to use Cupid's bow and arrows to reignite their romance and help his friends. On the cruise, Jake's attempts with the bow backfire, causing chaos as random people fall in love. When he accidentally hits Rose, it only strengthens her resolve to protect him, leading to a confrontation with the Huntsclan. Despite Jake's efforts, Rose decides to leave for his sake. Realizing the consequences of meddling with love, Jake uses the bow to undo the chaos and restore normalcy. 2 weeks later, Cupid visits, imparting a lesson about the complexities of romance and offering Jake advice and treats to mend broken hearts. Out of touch with his Chinese heritage and unwilling to participate in the festivities, Jake volunteers to watch his grandpa's shop while he's off doing his own holiday traditions. Jake's ignorance of Chinese culture soon shows its dangers when he inadvertently curses the magical shop with bad luck, causing a series of escalating calamities, including the releasing of 3 evil demons that wreak havoc on the city. While Trixie and Spud break the curse, Jake battles the demons and, with the unwitting help of his father, defeats them. Trixie and Spud's accidental kiss in the kissy-kissy closet leads to confusion as they mistake each other for their crushes, Stacy and Kyle. Meanwhile, Rose's double agent role is exposed, and she is forced to betray Jake to protect her birth parents, who are held by the Huntsclan. As the huntsman gathers the Aztec skulls for his sinister plan, Jake and his allies confront them at the homecoming dance. Despite their efforts, they are defeated, and the huntsman prepares to use the skulls to eliminate all magical creatures. Rose intervenes at the last moment, destroying the Huntsclan and sacrificing herself in the process. Jake desperately wishes for Rose's safety, causing her to vanish with no memory of him. Frustrated and heartbroken, Jake destroys the skulls in anger. The next day, he encounters Rose again, who has no recollection of their past. Though saddened by her departure, Jake ultimately accepts it for her happiness. Jake's day starts off poorly as his father embarrassingly drops him off at school. Feeling the drawbacks of being 14, he longs for the independence of adulthood. When Feudal calls about a magical creature, they encounter the Avematris, an ancient being that steals youth. In the struggle, Trixie and Spud are aged, prompting Jake to embrace adulthood, getting his license and a luxury suite. However, he neglects his friend's plight until guilt prompts him to throw them a party. Amidst chaos, Jake realizes adult responsibilities are overwhelming. At Lao Shi's shop, they learn Lao Shi is aging rapidly due to the Avematris. Jake and Haley confront the creature, tricking it into stealing its own youth. The plan succeeds, restoring everyone's ages. Reflecting on his experience, Jake acknowledges the value of being 14. In a twist of fate, Brad's reckless driving leads to a humbling moment for Jake and his friends. Hoping to get back into the realm of dating, Jake enters a bachelor auction at his school, when 2 girls compete in bids for him. One pretty girl named Danica Honeycutt and one sci-fi nerd named Vicky Fickling. He rigs the event to have Danica win. His skin-deep perception is criticized as Trixie, Spud, Grandpa, and Feudog try to convince Jake that Danica is a siren bent on his destruction, as he displays hypnotic behavior that leads him into increasingly dangerous situations. It's revealed that Danica is a normal human and Vicky is the real siren, but Jake's behavior ruins his relationship with Danica, while Trixie defeats Vicky by herself. Spud is determined to retrieve his clothes from locker 896 alone despite Jake's offer to help. Jake discovers Spud's admiration for him as a magical hero, contrasting with Spud's whimsical dream of living in a chocolate house. After a defeat in a game, Spud seeks solace with Jake and Trixie. Meanwhile, Jake receives a comic book gift detailing a missing magical frog. At Mega's Bazaar, former Hunts Clan members 88 and 89 face ridicule from other creatures. While searching for the frog, a moss monster attacks, drawing Jake's attention. Amid the chaos, 88 and 89 attempt to capture the frog, but it escapes, leading Jake and his friends to return it to its troll family. Spud's resentment towards Jake's heroism is evident, but the situation takes a strange turn when Spud transforms into a frog-like creature due to the magical frog's influence. With the help of an antidote, Spud reverts to his normal self. While 88 and 89 face consequences for their actions, Jake and his friends narrowly escape, marking the end of their adventure. One night, Jake faces an onslaught of sewer trolls but finds himself unable to reach Fu, who is preoccupied with a card game. At the DMC, Fu's animal guardian license expires, leading Jake to acquire a new guardian named Bananas B. Investigating a necklace from the trolls, Jake discovers it belonged to Chang, a notorious villain who escaped from prison. The next day, Fu faces a test with the inept known Mr. Crunkers, resulting in comedic failures. Meanwhile, Chang reemerges, orchestrating an attack with the sewer trolls and revealing Bananas B as his accomplice. In the ensuing chaos, Chang captures Jake, but Trixie intervenes, halting her plans momentarily. Separated from Jake, Fu seeks redemption and ultimately rescues him from Chang's clutches during a carnival showdown. Despite Chang's escape, Fu earns back his license with Jake's support. The episode concludes with the group enjoying a card game, symbolizing their bond. With Rotwood knowing Jake is a dragon, he sets up a campaign of humiliating him in school in order to get him to slip up and expose himself for his birthday's present. Tired of Rotwood's persistence, Jake goes on an online blog where he thinks he will not be noticed and gets misinterpreted by the magical community, thinking that a bounty is now out on Rotwood's head. Now Jake must protect Rotwood from various magical bounty hunters out for the reward. Soon to make up for the blog, Jake takes Rotwood to Mega's Bazaar as his birthday's present, and Rotwood agree to remove Jake's humiliating campaign. Jake, reflecting on a past camp failure due to a broken leg, returns to camp as a counselor with Spud and Trixie, tasked with comforting scared campers. That night, a malevolent Civil War ghost named Shackles Jack emerges with other spirits, aiming to possess bodies. Spud spots them, but only Jake can confront the ghosts, while Trixie and Spud are powerless. Shackles Jack captures Brad and his friends, intending to inhabit their bodies. Jake battles the ghosts, aided by the campers who rally behind him. Jake manages to thwart Shackles Jack's plan, trapping the ghosts with the help of the children. The next morning, chaos ensues when Spud finds himself commando, leading to laughter and embarrassment. Jake cleverly turns the tables on Brad, exposing his own misdeeds, much to everyone's amusement, including Brad's humiliation by his father, Officer Morton. For Take Your Child to Work Day, Jake accompanies his father, Jonathan, to his job, enduring his father's annoying behavior. Meanwhile, Strigo hunts for the American dragon but mistakes Jonathan for him and arranges to meet at Spud's restaurant, coinciding with a food critic's visit. Trixie is occupied with her father in a flight simulator. Jake, covering for the Strigoi unusual clients, calls Fu for help. At Spud's restaurant, the Strigoi target Jonathan, but their plan is thwarted when sunlight burns them, thanks to Spud's antics. Later, at Jonathan's workplace, the Strigoi attack Jake, mistaking him for the dragon. Jonathan arrives and valiantly defends Jake, but they both end up captured. Jake manages to use instant sunshine to defeat the Strigoi and save his father. Gramps tends to Jonathan's injuries, and Jake learns about his destiny as the American dragon. Jonathan wakes up and Jake apologizes to Marnie for missing her party, planning a rain check while bonding with his dad at Rockaway Beach. Jake is having a bad day, and things get worse when he is tasked by his grandfather to take a magical artifact to a group of witches to be burnt. Arriving there, he is greeted by the witches warmly. While waiting for the potion to destroy the artifact being made, a group of mountain goblins come for the artifact, which ignites a fight. In the middle of the fight, Jake accidentally spills the potion and regrets it, since he was tasked by the witches to guard the device for another week while they make another potion. Before leaving, Jake realizes that it looks like a video game, so he decides to try a button, which sends him back through time before the trolls arrive. He realizes that it has the power to give a cheat code to the owner, so he decides to use his strength booster, and he becomes stronger and able to fly faster. Later on, he registers himself to Mr. Universe, which he wins. Trixie and Spud are planning for the school's dance, and Spud wants to ask Stacy for the dance. But when he finds out that Nigel will also ask Stacy for the dance, a jealous Spud decides to do anything to win her affection, including striking an unholy deal with the accidentally released Fury. Meanwhile, with seemingly no crime for weeks on end, Jake becomes immensely overweight by eating massive amounts of junk food, much to Trixie's dismay. When Fury unlocks her sisters, it turns Jake into stone and Spud has to ask Michael for help. Jake soon gets back to life and is able to turn Uriel and Medusa into stone, while Fury manages to run away. Back at school, Jake promises to lose weight so that Trixie can take him for the dance, whereas Spud apologizes to Stacy about everything. But Stacy soon confesses that she's actually like him and just doesn't want to show that feeling in public, and they both share the dance in the school's basement. Jake, Trixie, and Spud indulge in a bit of mischief, stealing yearbooks and reveling in their last days of middle school. However, Jake feels the weight of his dual identity as the American Dragon when he misses out on regular school activities due to dragon business. Facing a suspension from the Dragon Council for a prank gone wrong, Jake sees it as an opportunity to experience a week of normalcy as a human. While he enjoys the perks of being a regular teenager, his sister Haley takes on the responsibility of the American Dragon. But as Jake relishes in his break, Haley struggles under the pressure of her newfound role. Amidst Haley's challenges, a sinister plot unfolds as Chang and her accomplice plan to resurrect the Dark Dragon. When Jake's attempt to foil their plan goes awry, he finds himself captured by Chang. However, with the help of Haley and their allies, Jake ultimately defeats Chang and restores his status as the American Dragon. Gramps recognizes the toll that being the American Dragon has taken on Jake and decides to ease up on his training, allowing him more time to enjoy his teenage years. Meanwhile, the Dark Dragon rises once again. Jake and his family, along with Spud and Trixie, take a trip to Hong Kong for summer vacation. But Grandpa reveals to Jake that the real reason for the trip is the Dragon Council's 1,000-year toast at a temple that appears once every 1,000 years at the top of a nearby mountain. When the Dark Dragon kidnaps Lao Shi, Jake tracks down Rose and tries to convince her to help them. However, Rose refuses to believe him and calls the police to arrest Jake instead. While preparing for the battle to come, Jonathan learns the truth after seeing Haley's dragon form and begins to accept it after hearing Jake is missing. Jake betrays the Dark Dragon and a battle erupts between the dragons Spud, Trixie, Fu and Jake's family on one side, and the Dark Dragon's shadow forces on the other. Jake's father destroys the Dark Dragon's demons while Haley and son capture Chang, but they are unable to defeat the Dark Dragon until Rose unexpectedly joins the battle. Together, Jake and Rose banish the Dark Dragon to another dimension for 1,000 years, after which they kiss, explaining she found a picture of the two of them together, which has restored her memory. So that will be it from us. If you enjoyed the video, then do let us know about your favorite character of the series. Also, leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for similar content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.